Hello internet, Junior here from the LiftedCommerce team, and welcome back to this Shopify Hydrogen tutorial series. And in today's video we're going to look at how to add breadcrumbs to our Shopify Hydrogen storefront. So if you can see here, we have this, if you visit the collections page, we have the breadcrumb added, and then if you visit one of the collections, we have the breadcrumb for that particular collection name added, and then if you visit the product, we see that the product name is added as well. So if I go back here and I visit this men's shirt, you see that it's added. And one thing that's important is that you see here everything is clickable except for the page, the deeply nested page, the current page basically, because Google doesn't like circular links. So I made sure in the implementation of this particular feature to make sure that the current page is not linked, whereas the other ones are. Obviously we can navigate back and forth. So without further ado, let's see how to do this. The first thing that you have to know is the particular feature within Remix, because Shopify Hydrogen, as I always say, is built on top of Remix. We're going to use the use matches. As you can see here, even in the Remix documentation, you can see for yourself that the use case, use matches have a lot of use cases, but one that is particularly great at is for breadcrumbs specifically. And you can see here we have a parent page and we have a child page, and each of these page export a breadcrumb handle, okay? And then within the root component we use matches, and basically use matches will give you all the data and a lot of information about the deeply nested route. So if I go here, I think I have that console logged at the moment, and I do a console log here. If I'm on the product, if I refresh this, okay, you see the matches that we currently have for this is for the root route. This is the ID of the route, and then the data that route has access to, the cart, the footer, the header. And the particular case of this collection here, you see the data that are available to us, and then the ID of that route is routes, local, collection, and then handle, and then the handle that I'm exporting from this particular, I'm doing exactly like this here. So the problem with this approach that is described in this documentation is that from this handle you can only export static data. Basically you don't have access to let's say the data that are coming from your storefront API, because you can only write static data. But one way to solve that is that when you have the use matches, okay, use matches return you a lot more than just the export handle. It gives you the data, okay, as you can see here from the second route, because this is the root route, and then the second route we have the collection, as you can see. And within that collection, we have everything we need about the particular collection. We have the handle, and we have the title, and based on that, we're able to build this particular breadcrumb. And if I go to a product page in particular, as you can see here, we have the same thing. If I go to the console, you clear this and refresh. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, same thing. We have the root route, and then we have the product route. And once again, you see I'm exporting the breadcrumb type. It's just for me to know when I'm generating the breadcrumb which particular route I'm in, and then the data give me not only the product title, the product handle, and then the collection the product belongs to. Okay, so I need to know which collection this product belongs to in order to render properly. So without further ado, let's jump to the code, and I will check out my previous commit so we can implement this from scratch together. So I've checked out, so this feature must be gone it's gone now, okay? Should be gone, I think. Let's see. I refresh. Let me do a hard refresh. 1 sec, it should be gone, I think. Why is it not gone? If I do breadcrumbs, I don't see that component. Let me maybe shut down the server and start again. I think there's some caching going on there, probably. All right, so let's wait a moment. Excellent. Yeah, it was a caching issue. So let's start from scratch together, folks. The first thing we want to do is to add obviously the breadcrumb you see it was somewhere here, so probably somewhere in the layout. So if I go to the route, the root route, okay, you can see here that we have the layout here, and then we have the outlet. So if I comment this one out, you see that we still have everything except the actual content. So what we want to do is to make sure that within this layout we can add our breadcrumb. Okay, so we can come somewhere here. For example, if I comment this one out, the content of the page will be gone. So what I want to do is to add my breadcrumb component here. Expand breadcrumb. Okay, breadcrumbs, something like this. Excellent. You see, so we have the page here, but obviously we don't want to load the layout component with the breadcrumb component, so we're going to create a separate component for the breadcrumbs. Let's do that. Breadcrumbs, right, .tsx, and then I'm going to create a component for that, and then I'm going to export that. Okay, and I'm going to import this from this page, from this component is here, right? So I'm going to add that here. Excellent. Oops, very good. And I like to use absolute import, so I'm going to change that like that. Components. Very good. We have now the same thing that like we had before. Now we are using this component here. If I put breadcrumb component, see, it's going to be breadcrumb component. Excellent. Now that we have this, okay, the next step is to export the handle. So let's start with the collections and the collections handle route. Okay, so those two routes, let's start with those two. So what we want to do here, we want to tell when we are in this route, in this breadcrumbs, okay, because remember this is going to be used by the layout, and the layout is used in the route. Okay, so using use matches here, if I do use matches, let's do that. Const matches, start with that, use matches. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. If I do a console log here, all right, matches, okay, matches, very good. And if I visit the console log, let's do that, console log, clear this and refresh the page, you see we have the matches now. Okay, so both for the collections and the products page. So you see I'm matching from, I'm not necessarily in the root route, I'm in a component that is used in the root route, so you're gonna see everything still. So that's the first step. Now the next step we want to do, when we are, because you can see here, if I'm visiting the product page, you see the product page doesn't export any handle, right? That's why it's undefined here. Okay, that's why it's undefined. So when you're generating the breadcrumb, obviously for each page that you're currently visiting, the breadcrumb looks a bit different, right? So if I'm on the collections page, it's going to be home/collection/ the name of the collection. If I'm on the product page, it's going to be home/collection/ the name of the collection / the name of the product. So each route needs to identify itself so that this component knows how to render the breadcrumbs for that particular page. So that's why we are going to use export handles here, and then go to the remix docs and just copy the syntax here like this quickly. All right, so I'm going to add something here, and then I'm going to call that breadcrumb type. Okay, and I'm just going to export collections like this, collections, and then I'm going to do the same thing here for the collection page for a single collection, and I'm going to call that collection. Okay, collection, excellent. And then if I go and visit a collection page, the men's collection page, you see that the breadcrumb, not the breadcrumb, but the breadcrumb type is now defined. Okay, so we have the breadcrumb type here in the men's collection. So that will help us to create the logic. So what is that logic? Well, it's very simple. The first thing we want to do is to get the matches, and obviously, and we also want to get the deepest route. Okay, it's the matches dot -1. Okay, so that's how we get the index of the deepest route. And then the next thing we want to do is to parse, because we need to have some sort of type safety in this thing here, because every route is just exporting something, and we need a centralized way to make sure that whatever the breadcrumb type that is exported by each individual route is something that is handled by the breadcrumbs component. So I like to use Zod for validation. So let's add some sort of schema here. We can say export const breadcrumbs type schema, something like that. All right, and then we use an enum. Oops, it's quite hard to type while speaking as well. Enum. Okay, so far I've registered two types of routes. So I'm gonna have a collections route, then I have a single collection route as well. Okay, so based on that, I'm gonna create a type, export type, breadcrumb type. Okay, I'm not sure if this is gonna be used elsewhere, but it doesn't harm to have it anyway. So infer and then type of breadcrumb type schema. Okay. So with this done, we now have, you see, we can now validate whatever is being returned. So if I call this past breadcrumb type equals to breadcrumb type schema, I'm gonna do a safe pass because I don't want to generate an error. If a component returns something wrong, I just want to fail silently. So I'm going to get this from the deepest route. And how do we get that? We get this from handle and then breadcrumb type. Right? That's the name that we've been using so far. So let's get this name here like this. Okay, and then I'm going to do a soft pass like this. Okay, I think, am I doing anything wrong here? Possibly undefined. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause this like this, possibly undefined, possibly undefined, possibly undefined, deepest matches, and so on, deepest route matches. Okay, yeah, so I need to do this like this, and this will be fine. Good. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to check if the breadcrumb that was returned is a valid one. Okay, we want to check if it's a valid one. So it's valid breadcrumb type equals to that dot success. That's a type. If you use the safe pass, it's going to return unlike the pass method. The safe pass returns success, true, and the data, or success, false, and an error. So if it's successful, if it's valid breadcrumb type, then we want to do the things, and otherwise we just want to return null. Okay, return null here. So if, for example, we say return, let's say instead of this, we want to return the breadcrumb itself, the breadcrumb type itself, we're going to do something like this. Okay, so we're going to do pass breadcrumb type and then data. Okay, we remove this, and then you can see already that this is gonna add some sort of value. You see collections, and then if I visit I remove this, it's gonna turn towards the collections, and then if I do this, it's gonna put us collection. And then if I go on the product page, because we don't have an export handle there already, it's gonna put nothing. You see here, there's nothing, so it fails silently. But obviously we want the breadcrumb to be added to the product page as well, but we're going to do that. So that adds some level of safety here in terms of what's available to us. And then the next thing we want to do, obviously, is to now start returning the real breadcrumbs data. So we're going to create the pages, const pages, and then the type is basically an array of the links that we can have. Okay, strings and the name. Okay, string as well, and then this is an array. And obviously by default we want to have the home page there. Okay, and have the home page, and it's going to point to the home URL, and then the name of the page is going to call it home. Okay, as by default. And then we're going to now inside of this component, what we want to do is to iterate and add other things to this page. So if it's, let's use a switch case component here, the switch case JavaScript logic. So if we have, let's say parse and then data here like this, if it's a collections, okay, if it's a collections, what do we want to do? Well, we want to append push to one more instance here. Okay, basically we want to add href slash collections and name equals to collections. Okay, then if it's let's add another case here for the particular case of a single collection. Let's save this for now. Obviously we want to add the collections here first, and then we also want to add another thing, which is the actual the data that are here. So if I go again and I console log like this, I'm gonna get those data from the matches. Okay, so if I remove this and I refresh the page, right, let's see, I'm not console logging the matches. Let's do that again. Let's do that here. Console log matches. Okay, like this. Very good. Console log the matches. Let's open this and see what's inside. So now we want to render, we want to get this information here, both the handle and the title. Okay, that's what we want to get, and we get this from match the deepest route data.collection, right? That's where we get. Okay, so let's do that here for this one here. So let's do that. It's a dynamic thing, so we're gonna do like that, and then we do slash collections. Remember, because we have the routes have the collections here before we have the like this, before we have the actual handle, and then we add the handle. Okay, and what's the handle? Well, it's the deepest route dot data, like we saw, and then dot collection. Okay, and then dot handle. All right, and then the same thing for the path, for the name. Sorry, you just add the, oh no, in this case we don't, we want basically the name of the collection, data dot collection dot name, title. Okay, that's how we're gonna have this. And then if I log this switch and so on, if I log this, what we have here, so switch case, so on. So if I do a return of what we have so far, I'm gonna JSONify it, span, and then JSON stringify. Oops, need to open this first. JSON stringify. All right, and then the pages that we have so far. Okay, let's see. Excellent. You see that starting to look great, right? We have the home page, we have the collections, and then we have the collections women. So these are all the routes that should be part of our breadcrumbs. So if you go to a particular product, we still have nothing. Obviously, as like I said, we're going to fix that. If you go to the collections, you just have the name, the home page, and the collections page. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Obviously, we're going to make this look beautiful, but for now, let's do the same thing for a particular product. Okay, let's see how we can add the breadcrumb to the product page as well. Let me open this again. Go to the console and clear this out. So first of all, let's see the matches for the particular for a product. What we need, obviously, is the product title. Right, we have that here. Very good. We have the product handle. Very good. But something notable is missing. We don't have the collection. Okay, because if you're rendering a tree, collection homepage slash collection slash the name of the collection slash the name of the product, we need that in the data. Okay, and at the moment, the data that are returned by a GraphQL query, if you go to the how's it called, the products collection here, we can see, if we go at the very bottom and we look at the products query. Let me zoom a little bit for you guys. If you look at the products query here, we can see that nothing is added to return. You see the product query, nothing was added to return. The particular, let me see here, yeah, product fragment, exactly here. So we see that we have the ID, the title, the vendor, and so on and so forth, but we don't have anything regarding the collections. So we need to augment the query to fetch the products so that it also returns the collection or the collections that this product belongs to. So let's see how we can do that using the GraphQL, the storefront API GraphQL. So here I have the query. I already did it, but I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to comment this one out. Basically, and if you want a video on the storefront API, let me know, and I can record a video on that. So basically, when you install, I have connected my storefront API to Apollo GraphQL Studio, as you can see here, but you can use graphical if you want. So if I go here to the query, I can see all the queries, the GraphQL queries that are available to us. In this particular case, what I want is to know how to get collections from products. So I'm going to open the products here, like you see here, and then I'm going to go to what is available. What can I do? I'm going to get the nodes. Okay, and then within the nodes, I have the collections. All right, you see here, and then same thing within the collections, I have nodes as well. And I have the handle. If I click there and I click on add, you can see that I have the query here already. But if I click, it's going to give me an error, right? It's going to give me an error. And the reason is because this query needs to be parameterized. Like there are some mandatory parameters. You need to tell Shopify how many products limits you need. And likewise, you need to tell it how many collections you need. So like I said, if you guys need any a tutorial on the storefront API, let me know and I will implement that. So let's see here, we can add the title of the product, the handle. Oops, one sec. Handle. Okay, let's see. Oh no, sorry. Should be here like this, and same thing for the title of the consultation. We run this. As you can see, we have the product, title, and then the collection it belongs to. But in our case, we just want to fetch the first collection, okay? I just want to fetch the first collection for each product. So we see that when we are fetching a product, the way to get the collections or the first collection that belongs to that product is simply to add this piece of code to our GraphQL query. So we're going to do that and augment the query that we already have here. So let's add that chunk at this level here. And if we rerun, if we come back here and we refresh the page, we'll see that the collections are now available to us from the product page. So if I open here in the console log, you see now we have the collections. And for each product, we have the first collection that is linked to it because it's a many-to-many relationship. So now if we go back here, in the products page, and you can see already also that we are still not exporting the handle type from the collection, the products page. So let's do that the same way we did for the collection pages. So let's do that here. Let me unzoom a little bit, too big for me. Hope you can still see it, guys. So let's say product for a single product, okay? And still it doesn't appear. Why is that? Well, it's because this is not part of our acceptable types or like the supported type. So let's add it here again. And from that point on, you see it's now there. But obviously it's only rendering the default, because in our switch case statement here, we don't have anything to handle the product. So let's do that. I'm just going to copy what we have here for the collection, and I'm just going to append one more chunk to the path, basically. Oops, like that. Okay, good. And I'm just going to add one more. Okay, so I'm going to add, and here obviously in this case the collection is a bit different, so I need to first of all let me do that here first, like this page, and then here I'm going to put product and then product, but I need to get the collection first. In this case because this is no longer, it's not at this level, right? So if I go back here, you can see from the matches again that in order to get the collections for that particular product, I need to get the product collections, then nodes, and then the first node, and then I can get it. So let's do that. I'm gonna remove here this, same thing here like this, and then I'm gonna create that collection object, const collection equals to deepest route dot product, oops, data, sorry, product, oops, dot collections dot nodes, and then dot 0 at 0, the zeroed location. Okay, and that's gonna give us the collection we need. All right, and then we're gonna remove it from here like this. I don't need that. This here as well, like this. I don't need that. Excellent. And I think this should work. Let's try that. Excellent. You see, we have everything now. We have the home page, we have the collections, we have the actual collection, and then we have the product. But we have an error here. It should be product here. Okay, let's put that to product and let's fix that, and it should be fixed now. Brilliant. Now we have pretty much the breadcrumb as a JSON string from our routes, but obviously we don't want it to look like this. Okay, so we want it to look a lot better than it currently looks, right? So we are going to style that, and in order to style that, obviously we're going to create we're going to export the proper things from here. So I'm just gonna come here, return this, add this return statement, grab this from here, so I can do that down here a bit more clearly. And I've already done it, so I'm just going to copy the code. I'm going to cheat a little bit here to save time, and I'm just going to explain what is going on in this function. Okay, chevron, and import this. Same thing, I'm going to import the link from Remix. I'm going to import the home icon. Okay, home icon, solid link from Remix. Yeah, Remix. Okay, let's import this. I think I have everything here. Good, let's try. Have a look. Excellent. As you can see, it looks very, very beautiful, right? It's exactly like I showed you initially at the beginning of this video. So we have the collections, have the home page. We can go to the home page. Obviously, the home page is not exporting any breadcrumb, so it's not participating in the breadcrumb logic. If I go to the men's collection, we can go here, go back, enter a collection, enter a product, and like we said initially, this, when you are in a particular page, that page you cannot click on the link because Google doesn't like circular links. So same thing here. Okay, so let's have a look at this particular piece of code, and that before closing this video. So we have, obviously it should be a list. Okay, so we have a list, and that list is iterating over the pages that we have created so far. Okay, and for each iteration, we have to check if it's the current page, and we have to check if it's the home page. Okay, and the reason we have to do that is, like I said here, if it's the current page, we want to render a span and not a link, as you can see here in the code. If it's the current page, we just want to put the title of that page in the breadcrumb, but if it's not the current page, we want to actually put the link pointing to the href, okay, that we have been constructing. Okay, and another reason why we need to know if it's the home page is because if it's the home page, instead of putting home, we want to put it a bit more nicely. We want to put this icon here. So if I go back here, as you can see, if it's the home page, you want to put an icon, and otherwise you want to put the name of the page. Okay, that's what's going on here. And obviously for the chevron, there's the separator here, we don't want to put that for the first iteration. Okay, so that's why we have this if index. So we have this if index is 0. It's only if the index is 0 that we add the separator. It's different to 0 that we add a separator. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and that's how you add a beautiful breadcrumb to your Shopify Hydrogen storefront. I hope you found this video useful. Again, my name is Junior and we sit here and founder at LiftedCommerce.com, a group of elite Shopify Plus developers ready to help if you need anything Shopify Plus related, Shopify Hydrogen with its custom apps, integrations, custom storefronts, you name it, we have it. So feel free to send us a message and we're happy to help. Thank you again for watching, and look to see you in the next one. Bye bye.